Oh man,
It didn't soften anything.
Didn't soften anything. I know what it is soft permanently, but
what is soft?
Speaking of soft, how you doing, Joe?
Hold on.
Wait, I want to talk about something.
Probably be really careful about the stuff we talk about tonight because I did. You know that thing I told you guys about that like might happen maybe in the chat? I gave them all our information and then also said we do a show on Friday and encourage them to watch tonight. So no cussing tonight.
yes.
F that, bro.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of soft, can I talk about something? I know
Not on this channel. Maybe on another channel. You can't talk about that on this channel.
Is it pretzels? Are we gonna talk about pretzels?
No, I was gonna talk about
soft?
I made a post on Facebook on a couple different pages on that Nylog White stuff because I just started using it and I like it a lot.
Awesome.
I like it a lot. But hey, let me tell you something. I got freaking razzed because I was like, everyone's like, why is it better than other stuff? And well, it's, you know, it seals well. Actually, pipe dope doesn't seal. It lubricates the threads. Okay, it lubricates the threads, asshole.
You know what? That's been I don't know if you guys have heard that, but it's been a debate over the years. I've heard teachers debate about it. I've heard anybody debate about it. Is it a sealant or is it gasket, whatever you want to call it?
It's okay. I'm going to give you the non-official technical. My idiot opinion on it is that
what I think too. Go ahead.
It does lubricate, but it also fills in the gaps if you don't tighten the damn fitting enough. So yes, it seals it.
But from my experience, a threaded pipe thread, I don't care if unless it gets hardened, maybe with some other stuff. But if it's gonna leak and it's loose, it's gonna leak. That gasket, I don't care what you have.
I'm going to tell you, I don't do a lot of the boiler work, or hell, I don't do any of the boiler work. Occasionally, I hook up a gas line to a air conditioner on the roof or something. But
you hook up gas lines to air conditioners.
Yeah, dude. HVAC unit, return air unit, whatever you want to call it, dumbass.
Sorry.
But what I appreciate about the Nylog White is that if you get it on your skin or you get it on your shirt, it's not yellow and it's not white and it doesn't ruin your clothes.
Although it's not coming out though.
You can spread it with your fingers. It's silicone, dude. Just wipe it off.
Oh, silicone ain't coming out of clothes, man.
I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna put it all over my clothes and I'm gonna wash it.
Just do me a favor and don't put it on my shirt, Adam.
I'm gonna try doing it with two different things. I'm gonna use regular detergent and I'm gonna use OxyClean, and we're gonna see what happens.
Billy Mays all the way. R.I.P.
Yep.
Hey, so I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Adam, did you pick a winner for the Testo manifold?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I did it.
You know what? I'm going to put him even more in a spot.
How did I do it? How did I do it, Joe? Let's see. Yeah. Well, I did so when I was waiting 47 minutes for you to show up for the show tonight.
Today was bad. Okay, today was bad. I was a little late.
That's how I did it.
So do we drag them on and do the announcement on who won the Testo manifold later, or do we do it
later?
Yeah, let's do later.
Okay.
We have a super duper special guest waiting in the background.
Is it
our bestest longtime friend, the longest running guest of the show in HVAC Overtime history, Mr. Big Clive.
Oh, and don't forget Luke.
Oh yeah, and Luke and his little buddy Randy. I know they're all watching. Real quick on a side note, if you guys go find Randy on Facebook, he made these awesome little cutout stickers of my logo. Fantastic.
I thought you were going to tell people to go find him. Be like, what did you
go find him? You find out where he lives and give me some of them damn stickers.
Please don't encourage that. Please don't encourage that.
You won't give me none.
The last time I encouraged someone, they sent me Joe's address with a freaking Google image of his house. So
nice.
Don't encourage.
I want some of Joe's trash so I know where he actually lives.
I can't tell you because along with that came a threatening email and then a phone call from some weird mafioso type dudes.
So anyways, without further ado, after that little introduction, I hope Adam was paying attention. He'd bring Clive in. Let's rock and roll.
He's not here.
Where'd he go?
We got a problem, guys.
Listen.
There he is. What do you mean he's not here, you dummy?
Sorry.
You would never.
You dumb shit.
Good evening, people.
Good evening.
Can I compliment Chris for a start? on actually getting his 100,000 subscriber play button. That is epic for a technical channel in such a specialist area.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you very much, Clive. That is awesome. And my mind was blown because I actually had to request my play button. I thought that they just sent them to you.
That's what I thought too.
I had to get a hold of it when you become a
I can request one then.
When you hit like whatever some kind of status, when you become a certain level on YouTube, they give you a little button on your YouTube channel that you can chat with people direct at YouTube or something. And I had to send them a message and start a whole conversation to get it.
Do you think I could request my pause button?
Your pause button? Yeah, we'll get right on that.
Can we just point something out real quick? That before Chris joined the show, he didn't have 100,000 subs. I'm just saying before, but the overtime bump maybe.
Yeah.
Good point there. Big.
I don't think you guys had anything.
All us.
Did that come in the shadow box, Clive?
But yeah, they'd come in this. This is the old.
Clive got the
This is the old style one.
Mm.
Oh.
Hey Chris, did yours come in a?
Do you have like a bunch of them, Clive?
Yeah, me and Chris have one. They're really good. You guys should get one. They're great.
I mean,
I've been trying to get one, but
Chris has one like at his front door when you walk in the house. I'm kind of thinking you probably have a whole wall of them, right?
No, but I'm angling for the gold one soon.
Like if you had, like,
well, I say soon. Years.
Hey,
down there.
just be lucky. I think I got like 42 subscribers, so
it's a start. That's my life. Keep in mind, I started small as well.
I'd be there in a while. It's all right. I do it for the fun of it.
Where's
so when you get you get past 100,000, you have to apply for it. It used to be they'd occasionally. It took ages for me, but they'd send a little message in your dashboard that says, congratulations, here's the link to apply. And because I live in the Isle of Man, I waited, and it turns out that they'd made the play button, but the company that actually, it's an awards company that ships them all out. They just did it sit in their office because they didn't know where the Isle of Man was or how to post it there, apparently. So it was like about a year until I got it.
This is embarrassing, but I lost my play button.
Oh no! Someone's stolen it.
Man.
I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around here.
First world problems right here.
Hey, I have to say that it was awesome, and thank you for that, Clive. That was awesome. But better than the play button is that stainless steel plaque that Rich made for me. That's, I think, he's in the chat right now. And then Ike is another guy that kind of gave him some ideas and stuff. But it says HVACR Videos has my logo, and I put some LED lights behind it. But I need to figure out a better way to do it because there's a glare from the light that I use that shines on it. If I can actually get it to turn on.
I've also noticed, do you have a fan in the room?
Yeah, I have to turn that off when I'm streaming because it drives everybody nuts. So, but yeah, anyway.
I don't even have enough subscribers to get one of those fancy plaques from Rich.
But it's definitely interesting how everything happened and how it's just grown. It's very humbling. It's very cool. So,
but the biggest thing, I think, I don't know, you've probably told this to me as well, Clive, and Chris, I know you've told this to me, but like your guys' channels didn't explode because like that was your game plan all along. You just did it because you enjoyed doing it, and that came as a byproduct of just doing something you like doing and you're passionate about it. And
I genuinely made these videos for my employees. They were originally unlisted. The first two videos were never meant to be public. And I had the idea in my head, like, it'd be kind of cool if I made these public, but I was very nervous to hit it. And then it took forever. I think I hit 1,000 subscribers. I think I launched my channel in November of 2017. I hit 1,000 subscribers in June or July of 2018. And then it just started to compound from there. But it's definitely really cool, but I never really planned on it all. Honestly, some days it's completely overwhelming. Because I don't treat it as my main priority. It's just something that's fun to do. So
I reckon that at 50,000 subscribers, that's when it starts becoming a bit of a job in the background. That's when I had to turn my email notifications off and just deal with everything on site. But at 100,000, it's becoming a job at that point.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's definitely a job. Right now, it's 4 to 6 hours a day that I spend on average. So, I mean, there's some days it's more, but about 4 to 6 hours a day that I spend when I come home from a normal job, editing, answering, emailing, dealing, like before the show, I sat down for an hour talking with my wife about a business thing we're doing and just, dealing with that. So
in your live streams, if you'd stop telling people to email you so much, you'd have as many emails.
See?
Come on, you haven't caught on to why I tell people to email me?
delete.
I have this system.
I actually do, but it's when, the whole point of the live streams that I started doing was a way to consolidate the questions because there was so many emails coming. It was like, hey, I'll answer them all on a live stream. It was just easier, but it's gone past that, but enough about me. So
let's talk about Clive.
Let's talk about Clive.
Uh-oh.
We talk about Clive all the time on this show.
Clive has an awesome new pineapple, and you could see it. It's just not green.
It's a lovely neon pineapple. I say neon, it's LED.
I'm going to order one of those just to torment my wife. So, yes.
Are you going to put it right in the living room above the entertainment center?
I'm going to put it in the front window so the neighbors can see, and then I'm going to make her run out front and look at it and tell me, can you see it? Like in Christmas Story. So, and
make it flash on and off.
Yes. So the
with red lighting in the background.
And I'm going to have, we're going to have a lampshade on it with the frillies hanging from the lampshade.
Hey, Chris, does your wife watch the show?
No.
Okay. You should tell us about that conversation that she was going to have with us the other day.
So Adam randomly, what was it? What did you send me, Adam? You titled the name. We were supposed to have a meeting or something, and
gonna get real awkward.
Yeah, you gave it a name. What was the name of it?
The meeting. It was like penis play or something like that.
Yeah, he called the meeting penis play.
Nice.
And then I'm sitting on the couch and I say, I'm going to go have a meeting with the guys right now. And I look down at my phone and she looks at it and she goes, are you guys going to play with your penises? And I'm like,
and you should have said, well, yeah.
And I'm like, well, no. And she goes, then why did he call the meeting penis play? And I go, because it's funny. She goes, no, it's not. And I go, yes, it is.
I didn't see that. That's what you guys were talking about. I heard.
Oh man.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of that conversation.
My wife gets
I
so
had to get caught up on it.
Do your guys' wives get annoyed with
my
the
wife
whole,
thinks I'm an idiot.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't understand. Like, she thinks it's the most ridiculous thing in the world for me to share shit stories. She's like, why would you tell people that? And I go,
yeah. I kind of wonder the same thing on a daily basis.
Like it's borderline. Like we come home from work, talk about work, but then also we talk about things like 12-year-old boys would talk about.
Yes, exactly. It's a guy thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think there's something to that. Like that you have to have a certain balance of immaturity with a little bit of like mature geekiness, maybe.
Do you think that it goes? Do you think the pendulum swings for like super serious people like me? Like I'm super serious. I'm constantly focused. I'm like da 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 da, all day long, and then I come home and I just want to be an idiot.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why our show kind of goes in waves, where we'll have moments during the show where we actually talk about stuff that makes sense, and then other times where we're just talking about dumb shit.
Yeah.
And
like
sometimes you guys even talk about HVAC stuff as well, which is pretty good.
We did.
Speaking of
I think that was show number 56.
I'm not sure if do you think there's a restriction in shipping, Clive? Because they gave me an idea on Facebook to send you a Nest thermostat, and I'm wondering if it's going to be an issue shipping it out, so you could take it apart and play with it and break it.
I don't think it would be that exciting inside because these things tend to be so heavily integrated. It's not like that long ago I did a Honeywell thermostat. I bet it's really similar inside, just a square chip and then power supply components and stuff like that. When you open these things up, they're a bit boring because, they've not got any. Well, it's like that oil burner control thing I did. It was really interesting because you could see everything happening in it.
What the?
But in those, you've just got the LCD display and that's it. It's not that exciting.
I think I got a virus.
So it's.
Sorry.
Oh.
Where did random Adam over here in the middle of Clive talking just says virus?
Because the freaking screen popped up. All of a sudden, my email pops up randomly out of nowhere, starting last week. It just pops up on the screen.
I see that on their screen. Yeah,
Sorry,
I see that.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Clive.
The moment's passed. Energy's gone.
Hey, Adam,
yes, it is.
Adam, your Bank of America is trying to get a hold of you, bud. You better answer that email. You have a bank alert.
I think you're right.
Yeah, your social security number has been suspended.
Yeah.
You have to pay them in Bitcoins.
What the heck, Adam? I get what you're talking about now. Your whole freaking email address, just email stuff just popped up.
So
Edit that
anyway,
Yeah.
how was your week, Clive? What anything
This
interesting?
week, nothing major interesting, but it's been super busy. The channel had about 7.7 million views last month, so it's just like the number of comments.
Jeez.
I try to look at every single comment and reply to as many as possible.
That
But
is
see, the last month has just been absolutely unbelievable. It's like getting to bed at 6 o'clock in the morning and things like that. It's been ridiculous.
How much of your day is spent, around projects like this?
It's actually so busy at the moment. It's starting to detract from the time I have to do actual videos, which is annoying because I'd rather put more time into the videos.
To put it in perspective, that's insane, Clive. My channel got 734,000 views last month, and yours got 7.7 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is not normal for some reason. This is what it says here. Your channel got 7,721,000 views, which is more than and then it says it's typically about 2,500 to 3,000 that it usually gets. So for some reason it's over doubled momentarily.
So,
And it's
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, carry on.
Oh, I was gonna say I see this in waves sometimes where the algorithm starts trying new things, and you'll get like a massive influx of, for instance, like back in November, maybe October, November of last year, I got a huge influx of computer IT people coming into my channel. Like YouTube just started recommending to all of them for some reason, and it just kind of does that in waves. I notice.
Yep, there is a thing. My channel has a huge IT sort of following, a lot of people involved in writing software and programming stuff, because they seem to think that they find this recreational. Watching this stuff, it's like me watching other technical channels that are nothing to do with electronics. I find that relaxing. It's almost like it's a hobby. So the IT guys find it interesting because they're learning something new, and it's completely different from what they're used to, and it's more physical.
Yeah. So I go in waves. It's kind of weird. Lately, the YouTube videos I have been watching for like the last month have not been HVAC whatsoever, and it's been travel, like families that get in an RV and travel. That's all that I watch.
Like vlogging channels.
Yeah, but like family traveling ones, like Keep Your Daydream is one of them, and a couple other ones where I just watch the families just travel around the country, and I just sit there and watch and like dream.
Yeah, I wish I fell down a hole like that. I don't know why, but I fell down a hole watching like guitar shredders, and there's this like 18-year-old kid that's just a whiz at guitar, man. Max Orso or something.
Yeah,
and so that's on my feed continuously, but. So I need to find something cool like that.
So Clive, is this your biggest month ever?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
It's I was discussing that with my brother today, and it is absolutely, it's the biggest peak the channel's ever had. It makes the downside of that is that when it peaks like this, and you see the revenue it brings in and all this subscribers, after that, it goes along for a bit and then it goes back down again. It seems to, that's how YouTube goes up and down.
It's it tugs on your depression, like just kind of gets you there. Just kind of tugs.
So I'm bracing myself for at least 1 month of your channel is not performing well. Those messages you get telling you, this video was unacceptable and things like that. It doesn't quite say that.
Again, a lot of people aren't going to know what I'm talking about, but one of the things that I hate about YouTube is when they changed the creator studio and started showing you how your videos perform against yourself. And I hate that. So it says this video is number 1 out of 10, or this video is number 10 out of 10. And it's comparing yourself to your own self. And it's just, I hate those numbers.
Yeah.
Bill, you want to tell Clive why his channel is better, doing good this month? It's trending. You mentioned it to Chris. You want to tell him why?
Oh, it's definitely the HVAC Overtime bump.
Yeah,
so,
it probably is. I think it is.
Whenever we have a guest on the show, like literally days, sometimes weeks, if they're really bad, they'll get the YouTube play button, It's just like almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
What was the guy, Trevor? Last show, he's buying a Maserati this week.
And he already retired from Emerson. Lives off YouTube money right now.
7 days.
Why?
In.
He was on our show last week.
Oh, yeah.
I have to say that actually, I don't know if I was being a fanboy during that interview, but that was an awesome, really relaxing show. It's kind of like when we have Clive on. It's just so easy to have the show and just to have a good conversation.
Because like the guest is like so much smarter than us. It's just like I just sit back and try to absorb knowledge. Yeah,
it's a different avenue. It's awesome.
That's not even a word.
Clive, I want to ask you that 3D printer, those lights you were showing last stream, I believe. I think it was last stream. They're awesome. Yeah.
They are.
Have you ever thought about making other things? And how it must be a complex thing to design something like that, is it?
It's not really, because the way I use it, literally, it's written as a script. It's written just as a sort of line of commands.
Okay.
The one I use, which basically, say for instance, this is actually just 3 cylinders. It's a round cylinder with 100 faces at the bottom, and you tell it where the position is and the height and the diameter. And then the next one is a 6-sided cylinder, and then with a taper, and then you just tell the bottom size, the top size, and you build it up, and you just position them in sort of space. So it's not that hard, actually.
When you say position,
I didn't.
Is it like writing on a screen? Like, what do you mean? You position?
It's type it. You'd tell it. I'm trying to remember what the command is.
It's like code. It's like.
It is code. It looks like a programming language, but for MD sort of technical, used to manuals and stuff like that, you'd get used to it quite quickly.
So
but
sorry.
You also have the graphical interface. You can just drag and drop and size things. I just chose the script one because it's nice and it's very sort of straightforward for me because I'm used to that.
Now with the 3D printers, sorry, Chris, real quick before I forget. Then the 3D printers, you can like just download like preset programs, right? Like you can just download. Like if you had a similar shape like that, you can go on, find it somewhere and download it, right?
Yeah, you can. There's a site called Thingiverse that you can find just about everything on. If you need a specialist packer for a particular item, someone may already have designed that and put it up.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, do they make, 3D printers sound really neat, but then when I started like looking into them and I realized how complex they were, it's like, that's not going to be good for me. I kind of need an idiot-proofed one.
Yeah. You look at the channels that are dedicated to 3D printing, and those guys are so geeky. All they do all day long is tweak and adjust and modify. You can just buy one and use it as well. You don't have to do all the stuff they're doing. It's very straightforward.
Maybe I should do that.
It always scares me too, because you see the videos of them. They say they have some kind of like 18-hour print going on, and it gets close to the end, and then it makes a mistake, and
just
the whole thing.
Spaghettis.
Yeah,
that can happen.
No, because we all been there. Something breaks, something plastic, especially nowadays where they're all made, and you're like, oh, I wish I could just make this thing for it to work. And I'm thinking, like, if it's not that hard, maybe it's a good investment.
But if you need an intricate part, like Clive said, if it's something that someone's made before, maybe you can find it online. But if it's something that nobody's made before, good luck, right?
Right. That's what I mean. It's always something that. Yeah, I don't know. It's that odd thing that, breaks and you're not going to find it. It's not even a part.
I think if I got a 3D printer, what I'd be doing is making like battery holders for my Milwaukee batteries. I'd just be making that crap all day long because I'm sure you can find files for that.
You just took my words out of my mouth. I was going to ask Clive if how hard would that be, and would he be interested in making those? Those are awesome. That'd be awesome.
A battery holder?
I don't think there's any money in that because of the time it takes to print,
Oh.
It would be
I'd
cool.
probably just order them off Amazon for 4 cents. So
you don't order 4 cents. Come on.
You'd always certainly find stuff like that on Thingiverse, but you have to remember that the 3D printed stuff isn't quite up to the same standard as like, bought solid injection molded components. So there's also that slight liability thing, because on another technical forum, it's like lift engineers, and they were talking about things they could use 3D printing for to fix old lifts. You make custom components, but you have to then consider if something happens and a lift chops someone in half, then they could say that's not an official component. That's something that someone's just made and botched in. So it has that liability aspect to it as well. But this here is a prototype, because this is the first scalable one. You can actually just type into the listing. You can type in sizes, like the size of the base and how wide you want it, and it'll automatically just do everything else and make you the file, so you can print one to a custom size for your application.
Now, the type of plastic you use, I see how it's like a kind of like a, what's the word? Not opaque, but it's like fuzzy looking. It's not clear. Is there different plastics you can use?
Yes, you can use ABS and other ones, but I use PLA, polylactic acid, which is it's kind of, I think it's corn-based. It's derived from organic sources.
Really?
And it means that if you use PVC or ABS, it can make the house stink of plastic fumes. But this stuff just makes a sort of slightly sweet smell. I don't think it's really that harmful. I say that, probably will be an outbreak of deaths caused by 3D
I know.
printing.
Don't burn it now. No, yeah, they're awesome.
Funny you said that. Right before we had John Pastorello on, Bill was talking about how he was going to drink his Big Blue or whatever on the air.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Turns out that was probably going to be a bad idea, so good thing I didn't do that.
Quickly before we change, because I'm going to ask him something, I want to ask him something else. If anybody's watching and they want to know, what do you recommend for a 3D printer for a good value and, I guess, simplicity, I guess?
The one I printed this on is a FL Sun Q5, which is a Delta printer. It's basically got 3 pillars with sliding pods on them that then connect by triangulation onto the head. And it's very affordable. And it's I've not had really any significant problem with it. It's been extremely good. It comes flat packed, but it's actually very straightforward to put together, particularly for you guys, because you're technical.
I want to say something too. I know we have probably some new people coming into the show right now that maybe don't know who Clive is. You're probably been under a rock if you don't know, but Clive has his own YouTube channel. You've got 2 of them, Clive, right? You've got Big Clive Live live streams. And then what's the other one?
BigClive.com for the main channel, and Big Clive Live because it's for the face videos like this, because I'm so ugly apparently that people unsubscribed from the other channel when I posted face videos.
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
Yeah.
So definitely go check out Clive's channel. Lots of cool electronics related videos where he takes things apart, figured out.
If it wasn't for somewhat of a radio voice, I wouldn't have any subscribers, I don't think.
The voice does help.
Mm-hmm. I just got to work on my Sean Connery accent, and I'll have it. I'll have it all. I'll be the total package.
You could also do that. I was gonna imitate someone else, but it's gonna take me a minute. So keep talking. I was gonna make an ass out of myself anyway, so I probably shouldn't do that.
Okay.
Clive invented modern electricity, Alaska HVAC. Actually, you know what? There is actually a book, Modern Electricity, actually, isn't there? A book?
Modern Electricity, something, or no, is it Modern Refrigeration?
Modern Refrigeration.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Do you know the first electrician's book, the first one ever printed? It was the guide for electricians way back when they just, electricity had become popular. It actually, do you know the main method they used for testing wires? They said, if you want to find out if a wire's live, lick your finger and touch it and you'll feel a tingling sensation if it's live. And it's like, then they removed that later on from the book. I wonder why they did that.
I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I was taking an HVAC test, and on the test, it was for a certification for HVAC NATE certification. And on the test, one of the questions was, when a circuit is energized, which wire can you safely grab when the circuit is live? Now, I know where they were going with this, but you don't ever tell someone to do that. And this is a certification test. And I remember thinking, I got the answer right because I selected the right wire. It was between white or black. It was what it was telling you. But
okay.
It kind of blew my mind. Like, you don't ever grab, because sometimes.
Well, here's the tricky thing. It was the white one because it's a neutral and it's supposed to be close to ground reference.
Yeah.
But black in the UK used to be R neutral, but now is a phase color. So black over here, depending which installation you go into, could be live or neutral.
That's
I still think seeing that question, it tells me what NATE's all about.
You know what? Let me step back. I shouldn't have said Nate because it could have been another test that I took. It could have been Nate or
it was probably Nate.
yes, certification.
That
One of the
sounded
two.
like Nate.
It was probably Nate.
It was one that you just take over the counter for an hour long. Hey guys, just fill this
I
out,
know,
please.
like my Nate test was on the back of
Hey,
the cereal.
hey guys, I currently have an email into Nate to get sponsored by them. Can we not dog them?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
You know, I met the guy who wrote those Nate tests, and I actually met him because he was working at the bottle return at Walmart. He's like, "Yeah, I wrote those Nate tests." Yeah, that explains a lot.
Oh yeah, how did that come about, Bill?
What's
You
that?
just happen to be standing at the bottle return and you say, "Yeah, I'm an HVAC technician, bud."
Every week on Sunday, I go to bottle returns all over my town, and I interview anybody that's standing there.
Dude.
Everybody knows this.
Yeah, exactly.
People don't realize that Bill, when he's out shopping, has his like gauges slung over his neck, you know, for that cool "I'm an HVAC tech" look.
That's true. That's why I got a gauge tattoo.
And he walks around going, "Hey guys, do you want to be my friend? We're doing our new show."
You want to come to my podcast
Bill,
and learn how to sell furnaces?
Bill
It
was,
wasn't Bill that high.
when I went to Bill's house, he was surprisingly professional, and he's like 8 feet tall.
That's true.
It's like 5.
That's actually not true. I'm not really that tall.
Close, like 7
7 foot
6.
7 inches.
It's just Adam, and Adam was standing next to Nate, and Nate's like 4'2". So in comparison, I am 8 foot tall.
You know, I had a great idea, obviously before the show, but for next time Clive is on, I think would be awesome because he reverse engineers everything, schematics and everything. Any unit, just grab it, put it on a screen, and it could help guys just go through like the sequence, and we could all do it together. Like if he's not sure of like the logical side, we could just it goes to there or
Where
goes
are
to
these
there.
great ideas every other day of the week, Joe? That's
Right?
a good idea.
This is like
That would be
something
awesome.
you should have come up with this 47 minutes prior to the show starting.
for the
Like, wouldn't
show.
it be-
I got to be honest. I really wasn't listening. Can you say that again, Joe?
We're gonna go.
I genuinely wasn't
together.
listening. I spaced out for a minute.
It's okay. I don't know if you're serious now, but I'll repeat it anyways.
I am.
Okay. We'll go put a schematic on the screen about any package unit, any kind of unit, somewhat complex, doesn't even have to be complex. And we'll just go through the sequence operation, and he could help us and we could help people. And if he's not sure about the logic of certain components, we could say, "Oh yeah, we'll go there," or we could just bounce off each other and go through a schematic and put it on screen and show people.
I think like a low voltage control side of like a motherboard, circuit board, or something like that.
Yeah.
I sometimes struggle with that myself.
But you know, sometimes you get these drawings and it's not immediately obvious. You have to trace it through one thing and then it goes to another bit.
Right.
That's most drawings, is it? And sometimes you're just standing there for ages thinking, so how does that work? Some of them just really are more complex. They look simple when you first look at them.
That's
In
how
fact, sometimes it's the simplest ones that actually have cheated to actually get, you know, more results out of less components. So they're sometimes the most complex.
I was just telling the guys probably about 2 weeks ago, I just redid a control system for an exhaust fan system for a restaurant. And they had smart controls running with VFDs and optic sensors and all kinds of all fancy stuff. And they wanted all that taken out and go into conventional controls. So I wired the system all into their fire suppression system and all this fancy stuff. But then the problem is I made it my own and it works and it's all legit and everything. But then it comes time to drawing a schematic for what I did. And I sit down and I start drawing it out and you do line for line and you're like, okay, wait, no, that's a mistake. Then you throw that paper away. Then you draw it out again and you're like, that's a mistake. You throw that away. And I spent a couple hours staring, trying to get the schematic drawn out. And I finally gave up. I
asked you for it.
I finally gave up and I did an if this, then that statement. I basically just put up a statement. If power's turned on here, this relay and this relay energize. And if this relay, and I realized it needs to be better. I need a schematic, but I just kind of was just so frustrated because it was so complex what I did with relays and everything. And it's like, that's the hardest part for me is drawing the schematic.
Well, see the first schematic, and instead of actually just scrap it and starting again, just scribble out the lines that you put in that you didn't mean and just draw other ones over it. Because the first time you draw it is not going to be the final schematic. You're going to shuffle everything to make it more logical looking. Because otherwise you end up with all the lines crisscrossing each other.
Right.
Because when you see the schematics that I draw, that's usually about the second version of it. Sometimes the third version, because the other ones, I suddenly realized if I'd moved that component over there, then all these lines didn't need to cross and it would have been just easier to read. There's an art to it. It just comes with time.
Yeah. I can do simple ones, but this one's pretty complex. So it's just like, and I'll do it. It's just going to take me some time to really sit down. And to be honest with you, I probably need to take a gummy and go sit down and draw it. And I'll probably give myself some real focus and be able to.
I downloaded a program for schematic drawing, and
I need that.
I thought it was going to be super easy, where you just like, hey, I'm going to draw this line to here, but it's like, it's very, very intense, and you need to pick between like, there's there's like 10,000 components.
Yeah.
And you need to, I don't know. I'm like, I gave up on this.
You know, what's his name? Refrigeration kitchen equipment technician or something on YouTube there.
What is his name, by the way? He makes great videos. I see them all the time.
Yeah, I think it's kitchen.
I'll find it right now.
It's words. He's got words. They're words and stuff. And when he's doing like his breakdown of his videos, he'll oftentimes have the schematic right there, and I don't know what he's using to like overlay.
He highlights it.
Yeah, yep. As like he's explaining like power goes through here, and then he'll lay down a section of like a red line here, blue line there, and kind of show you.
I made a video with that one time, and it was the shortest video ever working on a Delfield refrigerator, and I highlighted it with red lines. It took me hours to make that video to do that. It's an awesome video, but and it's probably one of my least viewed videos ever. But
I know, because people get bored of it. They want to see it head on. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I have to say that what Bill was talking about, the guy doing those complex things and highlighting things, he does spend a lot of time doing that. It's not like it's not as fast as it comes across in the video. He's not just going clicking at highlights. There's a lot of work in making those videos. If anything, that might actually slow him down and stop him making videos, which is kind of counterproductive. Sometimes you're better just keeping things super simple and just scribble it down and doodle, because nobody actually cares about the presentation as long as you get the information across. So using crayons or Sharpies and things like that is absolutely fine.
Yeah, even a highlighter would work too. You know.
Yep. So I'm gonna say something that the guy that we're talking about, Bill, is refrigeration and kitchen EQ tech.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's him, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say something. He has some cool videos on YouTube, great stuff. But this is what happens on YouTube, and I'm guilty of this. I watch his videos, but I wasn't subscribed. So guys out there, if you guys watch people's videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It benefits all of us and it helps us. Even I am guilty of it. I've watched this guy's videos a bunch, but it's just not, I don't know what it is about YouTube. They don't make it super easy sometimes to subscribe. And I'll say where it is, because I watch a lot of YouTube videos on my TV. And while you can subscribe on your TV, it's kind of a process to scroll down.
I never thought about that.
To get the little thing. And because I watch them on my TV a lot, it's hard, but he does have great videos. So I'm going to post a link to his channel right now in the chat. And you guys go subscribe and tell him the Overtime Crew sent you.
So while you're doing so, I noticed the guy that I guess I picked for the giveaway is in the chat tonight.
Who is it, and how did you pick him?
Let's say something really quick. So we started a new YouTube channel. If you guys didn't already know, you're living under a rock, and go subscribe to the HVACR Tools YouTube channel.
We already got a play button for it, so
because we mentioned it on here last week.
Yeah, so it's exploding. HVACR Tools is the channel. Okay, now Adam was very generous in that the manifold, he decided that he didn't want to keep it and he wanted to give it away. So like I did say in all my videos, Adam is a very disgusting person, and you guys need to make sure you sanitize this manifold when you get it.
You know,
touch it.
The funny thing is, I thought about sending that jug of sanitizer, the prototype jug that John Pastorello sent, and then he wrote on it with Sharpie, but I'm like, dude, that's like a keepsake. I can't send that to the dude. I'm keeping that for my freaking personal stash.
So
it goes in a trophy shelf or something.
Yeah.
With that being said, Joe, are you still giving away your manifold?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna announce the rules, not right now, but we're gonna announce it soon on one of our coming videos on the HVACR Tools YouTube channel. We'll announce it and we'll mention it here and everywhere else too. So stay tuned for that.
Well,
Can I just cut you off 1 second, Chris?
Yeah.
There's something trending here. Can you guys catch what it is?
Giving away stuff.
Yeah. What are we giving away?
Testo stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so look, I want to get back to Big Clive. The whole thing is, I just want to mention this guy's name, right? Because he's in here and it's easier to get in touch with him or whatever. You guys, Joe keeps asking me, how did you pick the guy? I'll tell you how I picked the guy, all right?
Yeah.
That's not how Joe sounds, by the way.
Everyone in my family for many generations has had a nickname, Muff, all right? That's what it was, all right? This guy rhymes with Muff. And his scream name was Big Huff 2316. That's how I picked it. And he also did the 3 stipulations which we asked of him. And,
did he?
Yeah. So Big Huff, send an email, hvacOvertime@gmail.com for your new testes.
And Big Huff, I think is actually local to me.
He better be, because if he's local to Illinois, then he ain't valid.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I see him in the chat right now. So Big Huff, make sure you send an email. What did you say?
No, shoot, I said it wrong. Don't send it to overtime. Don't send it to overtime. Chris, you say it.
HVACR. Wait.
How do we do it? Do overtime. Just send it to overtime.
Just do overtime.
We got too many channels.
Write us a letter. Write us a letter.
All right, sorry, Clive. That was stupid.
Make sure the pigeon has an orange foot that you tie the note to when you send it.
I don't know why our channel isn't blowing up.
Well, what is the email, Adam? Which one?
We don't even know our own email.
HVACOvertime@gmail.com. Send it to that.
Send it to
We
that.
need a producer.
Big Huff 2316. Maybe we should hire one of our wives to sit on the other side and like work the board and stuff.
We do need somebody who's like good at posting links on the fly. Like a producer of some sort.
Are you drinking beer or rum, Clive?
What?
It looks like beer.
I'm drinking it's rum, but not. This isn't all rum, obviously. This is rum in American cream soda, or cream soda, as you guys would probably call it.
Cream soda is my jam. I remember my grandfather. It has like nostalgic memories because my grandfather always used to give me cream soda, and then my kids when they have it now.
Good.
Yeah,
it's called American cream soda over here. It's just like it's got that image of being American.
And yet it says
fat person on it.
What is your monetary thing with the L? Is that lira or pounds or something?
Pound.
What is that?
Pound. It's a pound sign.
Hey Joe, take your hand and go really close to your camera.
There you go.
And then pull it away.
1 pound.
Now pull it away. Bam.
So
Camera focus.
I want to try that. I've never had it, but you know what? Actually, Clive, I have not drank in like 2 weeks now. I'm going straight edge. It's a hard.
You're gonna regret that decision. Trust me.
Hey, Sean. I was gonna say, guys, again, we'll be giving another one soon. So just stay tuned, man.
Yeah, stay tuned. Definitely.
This is what I'd normally be drinking. The radium gin, which isn't actually radioactive at all, despite its appearance.
Isn't that what they light the lights out of?
So that's the actual color of the gin, Clive?
No,
I may have added drain tracer dye.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So you can go get an MRI without drinking the weird fluid, then, right?
Right.
Absolutely, yes.
Right.
Is that actually?
I can't remember which one that is that you have to drink the fluorescent crap.
I think that's some of it, isn't it, Clive?
Yeah.
Is that food grade dye?
Not necessarily. No, it's chemistry grade dye, but it does come. I meant to make a video about it, and I did make the original video, and then thought I can't release this because I looked up the safety of the dye, sodium fluorescent, and it comes with loads of warnings about causing anaphylactic shock. But that's only because they use it for monitoring. They look at the blood veins at the back of people's eyes by either injecting it into their bloodstream or making them drink really large quantities of it, so that they go fluorescent for a while.
Oh wow!
I want to try that.
Sounds super awesome.
I want to get a hula hoop and like line it with magnets and see if I can make my own MRI machine at home.
Absolutely, that would work.
I think it would.
Do you ever work at the hospitals, Bill? I've done some work at hospitals, and you get all nervous going into the MRI room, making sure it's off before, because the giant magnets and crap.
Have you worked on the cooling systems for those MRIs?
Yeah, the air conditioners. That's what I've had to work on. The hospital that I used to work on, they had, but it really wasn't that complex. They were like
a mini split pointed at it.
Mini splits. They were trailer units. What are those ones they mount on the side of?
Like the Bards? I forget what that's a name brand,
they had like redundant ones though. So they'd have backup units too, which was pretty smart. So basically it'd be a 911 because the backup unit went down, which, so that way they still have one functioning. So they can perform the tests and stuff.
100% redundancy.
So what kind of quantities of radium gin are you drinking on a daily basis?
1 shot a week.
Oh.
Just so I don't go any further. And yes, I did actually point an ultraviolet light into the toilet and I urinated in the dark just to see if it comes out glowing, and it does.
Does it really? Oh, that's super awesome.
See, my wife would be like, "What the hell are you doing? You're peeing with the lights on." I'm like, "Come here. This is the coolest thing ever."
Yeah.
But it's my thing. It's one of those things.
And say, look, you can write your name in the carpet as well.
You know what I'm going to try?
Now,
I'd be sleeping in the garage.
Now, clean it up, bitch.
Yeah, right. that's what I would.
I'm pretty sure that's how Chris talks to his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope she doesn't watch this one.
I'm gonna crack open a can of refrigerant right next to my toilet and just spray it, and then try to pee through that and see if it freezes.
Yeah.
Some guy asked, I don't know if it's
someone's commenting about stuff that they've worked on. There was one too. I remember because I used to do a bunch of hospital work, and they sent me out to a facility out from me a ways away. And so I get there and they're like, yeah, the chemo hood is down. So for the chemo room, they have exhaust fans that pull the stuff out. And so I go up to the exhaust fan and it's not working. And I walk up to it and then I start thinking, and I'm like, and I call the guy and I go, "Hey, this is the chemotherapy hood, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I go, "So what the hell's coming out this exhaust fan?" He goes, "Oh, don't worry. It goes through HEPA filters and stuff before it gets up there." Cause they mix the chemotherapy medications and whatever. And it goes in what do they call those? Negative hoods or whatever, where nothing can ever escape or whatever. But what I noticed, again, I always felt uncomfortable working on that exhaust fan because I did a bunch of work on it over the years, because there's a giant line around the exhaust fan where you could tell that everything is discolored. And then whenever you would go through belts once a month on that thing, the belts would just wear out. And it's like, what is going on with this hood? And what am I up here working on? And no, you don't need protective gear. And it's like, yeah, that sounds very, thank you, reassuring there. Now they swear up and down because it goes through HEPA filters. It's all fine and stuff, but I don't know.
I wonder if they were actually using ozone or UVC lamps to sterilize it.
Maybe.
And that the ozone was because it would be quite highly concentrated, was causing perishing of the rubber. And that's a
very good possibility,
damaging the paints and filters.
Maybe that was an interesting one too, because it was always a pain in the butt. If you could never tighten up a belt because it was, what do they call those? They're like negative flow hoods or something like that, but they had to be at the perfect pressure setting. So if you over tighten the belt, even the slightest, they wouldn't meet their numbers and they couldn't mix chemo and stuff like that. It was like this, it was a pain in the butt. And all it was a stupid exhaust fan. It was the silliest thing, but it was such a big deal to work on that thing.
And the airflow switches, that if it's not reaching the airflow level, it sets off a siren alarm and says, stops you using the unit. I've worked on those before.
Yeah. They have all kinds of stuff. I was never servicing the filtration systems. I was just working on the exhaust fan on the roof. And I never understood too, because this was a rather big hospital and they had plenty of money. And they would never replace that fan. And it's always like, guys, you have me over here. You've done so much work. I've changed motors, changed belts. It's like, I could sell you a new fan for cheaper. The same thing. It was always kind of silly to me. But
they never see the big picture, so to speak. All they see is like the small portions of maintenance. They don't add it all up.
Yeah. But that is also the same hospital that one time they called us because they lost an air compressor, their backup air compressor for one of their pneumatic systems. And because it was such a pain in the butt to get a PO from the hospital and they needed it on a 911, they wanted me to purchase it on my credit card, and they were cool with me marking it up just so that they didn't have to go through a PO system. So I purchased
Wow.
like a $10,000 air compressor on my credit card, marked it up, and didn't even touch the damn thing. But it's funny how they would bitch about changing an exhaust fan. Go figure. So,
It's strange in the commercial world. Some of the stuff you go through where it's dumbfounding sometimes.
Yeah,
Walk-in coolers are down, and like, I got to get an increase to get your cooler back online. It's just, I don't know. It's a political thing. It's stupid.
yeah.
But
Hopefully I don't have
when
to
you
do that too much.
in the hopefully unlikely event you go in for your chemotherapy, you'll suddenly discover when you get your bill how they can afford to just flippantly buy things like that.
True.
Because there's lots of money rolling about. This is not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo for sure. So
Bunch of hoopla.
Somebody asked something. I guess I could
I
answer.
bet they did.
Well, DC transducer. It's DC transducers, DC and millivolts, right? The ones I come across usually are DC 0.5 to let's say 5 or 10, right? I don't know where it was.
about transducers.
Yeah, that reminds me of something that I kind of learned over the last 2 weeks here. Clive, I don't know how familiar you are with train units. I think it's anything over 5 tons. They'll have a hot surface igniter on them.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And the hot surface igniter also acts as the flame sensor. And I don't work on trains too much, and I didn't really understand how that worked. And through my little bit of research, I found out that so voltage is sent to the hot surface igniter, and then once it's lit, or I guess it times out after a little while. It times out. Voltage is not applied to the igniter, or the voltage is cut off. But then another small amount of voltage is sent back to the igniter. And since it's already lit, that little tiny bit of voltage will go through the flame, where the flame will rectify it to DC, and then it goes to chassis, and then the board monitors it.
Flames ionize the air. I think it's the fact it's to do with hydrocarbon fuel, but a flame is slightly conductive.
Yes.
And you can use the flame rod sensors to actually detect that. So they may just be using the same electrode, but I wonder if they're using a relay to just isolate from the power for heating it and then switch over to sense mode. I'm not really sure. I'd have to actually look at one to see that.
I'm pretty sure they're just a 2-wire 120 volts typically going to that hot surface igniter on that unit, Bill, isn't it? It's just that giant transformer that steps it down. So I think it's happening through that, is it not? Through that 2-wire 120 volt circuit?
Well, it's happening through that, but what I don't know is if it and somebody gave me the Teletrol Bible, and I was peeling through that, and I think somewhere in there it does say that the 120 volts is at some point in time dropped, and then a small current, which they don't explain, even in this Bible, they don't explain it. A small current of whatever voltage is then applied to it, but
It'll probably be looking for the ground path down to the sort of chassis through the flame itself.
Yeah.
There's an interesting twist here. There are discussions afoot in the UK to switch over to hydrogen as a fuel. And they're initially thinking that in the transition, they'll mix natural gas with the hydrogen.
Are they upset because not enough people are blowing up? Is that what they're trying to do?
Absolutely. It's to make the houses go bang louder.
Oh, man.
But one of the interesting things is those flame sensors don't work with hydrogen, apparently, because it's such a pure burning fuel that
there's no conductance?
There's no conductance through the flame. So they have to use
I'm sorry, go ahead.
different sensing.
Let me ask you this. I have a question, and I know this is all hypothetical. I've never worked on it. Clive's never worked on it. But, what you're saying, Bill, Clive, for that to work, would they have to open the neutral circuit coming back from the igniter?
Well, that's what I mentioned about the relay. I wonder if they have a relay that switches the power onto that, but when it turns the power off to the igniter, then it breaks that and switches over to the low voltage circuit. They probably have something that allows the heater to be used as the sensor electrode as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I guess it's a logic board somewhere.
Yeah, but you wonder maybe they're just going back to the thermocouple or something like that for sensing things like that.
Mark Zami-Chikowski says he has the Intel Ignition motherboard from a furnace he scrapped out, and he's willing to get it over to you, Clive, if you want to dissect it.
He says he's willing to send pictures, which would be the easiest way. But yes, if you do take pictures of the side of the board, make sure they're well lit and in focus, because that way, and roughly the same size, it makes it easier to actually sort of reverse engineer it and trace it. I get sent so many pictures. People say, "Can I send a picture of a circuit board to you for diagnosis?" And I say yes, and you get this dark, out of focus, fuzzy thing that you can't even see all the components on. So a good clear picture is good.
You got to be very careful with requesting pictures from people. Trust me from experience. Trust me from experience, because people send you pictures of them posing in very awkward positions. Speaking of that, if anybody has any cool pictures that they want to send them to HVACOvertime@gmail.com.
No. I gotta tell you, we did that once, and you know who sent the worst picture? I think it was Scott.
Oh, Scott, I never got any. Well, I don't want pictures, but someone did send me a picture one time, and I was like, "Please, no." My wife was like,
"Yeah, wasn't it Rookie? Rookie like sent you a nude picture of himself."
That's right. I think he was posing, like bending over. Yeah, it was a really awkward picture. Scott did send that. That's right.
Yeah, something like a ring toss game, and it was weird.
No, but I did get some. You got to be careful about some of the emails, man. Like sometimes those things come through pretty crazy. So, yeah.
You know, when the guy mentioned about that, I want to shadow a guy. I have somebody who I'm going to shadow. He's pure like Johnson Control stuff, and I just want to shadow him a few days or maybe a couple weeks and just see more in depth where that DC is going, where that 0.5 is going. I want to see how it relates on the computer screen. What's it doing, and how does it make something work? I just want to.
Are you talking about a transducer?
Sorry?
Are you talking about pressure transducer or what? What are you talking about?
Pressure transducers, humidity transducers, everything. You know, I'm there wiring it transducers, but usually that's more on the control side. We do all the other safeties or whatnot, but when it comes to transducers, we're usually for certain areas. Obviously, there's some package units that have transducers or even voltage that we do. But I'm talking more along the lines of the DC communication automation transducers that are in ductwork and whatnot.
You know what was I never really got into pressure transducers too much, although I did work on the York modulating furnaces had pressure transducers.
Yes,
and they went bad all the time, and I'm trying to remember how to diagnose them. What?
How do those work? Pressure transducers.
Okay. Oh, you gotta. You know, I always knew one thing. I don't know if Adam will remember this, or maybe one of you guys. How do you know when you're testing a transducer what voltage will you see if it's bad?
I don't remember that. I don't.
I'm going to skip forward for this conversation.
Clive, do you know the answer to this question?
I'm just thinking off ahead from what I see in my experience when I'm.
I think it varies.
At least see if they're even working.
Varies based on the pressure, right?
Yeah, but there's always something there to know that they're still working.
There'll be an amplifier in it, because I think most pressure transducers work by having a diaphragm that distorts, and they have a sort of thin film platinum sensor on it that will sort of change its resistance effectively with that distortion. But then it has to be amplified locally in the unit, because that's good, because it means that it's less likely to have the signal interfered with going back to the main unit. So it probably will buffer it up to a sensible voltage that you can actually just measure the meter.
Yeah, even if it's if it's bad, you won't get anything. I noticed when I'm checking them, I always get that point. What is it, 5? I guess. I know it's good. If you're getting 0,
I don't know. Like the York, I do remember the York furnaces, like it would fluctuate. So like the way, if I remember this correctly, the modulating furnaces, the way that it would vary the gas valve, because it would step up and modulate, it would actually vary the draft motor, and it would be referencing the pressure of the draft motor, and by that it's stepping down and changing the voltage, and that would fluctuate the voltage and in turn the gas going through the gas valve, right?
And the board does it essentially. That board that you see is doing that. It's relating the pressures to I guess voltage or resistance. I don't know how it does it, but it's doing it. I think Clive, you already answered that, but
I'm curious. Like, how does that? So you said, Clive, that a diaphragm inside that pressure transducer varies the resistance. Now, how exactly?
It's not, resistance. It's not, 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 it's the movement is going to be tiny. It's not like going to be a diaphragm in the sense of like a rubber diaphragm flapping around. It's going to be a fairly solid disc of metal that just distorts a very tiny bit, like your kitchen weighing scales fundamentally. That sort of same measuring system, whereby there's, if you looked inside your scales, it's your digital scales, it's basically a solid sort of arch of metal, and the tiniest bit of deflection will create quite a strong signal when it's amplified up. I think that's how the pressure transducers work.
Yeah.
So it's not like like you're saying, not a large movement like a pressure switch. It's just like a little
hard diaphragm. It's just flexing slightly with the pressure. It doesn't take much flexing, and the way they actually measure the resistance of those, they can get a fairly high accuracy from just the tiniest bit of movement.
But I don't understand how the resistance changes just by pushing on something.
Then you need to look up platinum film sensor, and you'll find Wikipedia will have an entry about that, which will cover just about every detail you could want to know.
You're like a Encyclopedia Britannica, Clive. Like, you know everything.
See, I know about these sensors, but I've never actually had to use one in a project. Although you can buy modules on eBay where you get the sensor on a piece of metal plus the circuitry for diagnosing, for actually analyzing it. But it's also specialized. It's just down to one chip does everything. It's just dedicated to that task of weighing stuff. And ultimately, the pressure sensors, those little pressure sensors, they're almost like a weighing scale inside that. But just instead of the weight deflecting the metal, it's just the pressure deflecting the diaphragm a little bit.
Hey, Sean. Slurp machines use a DC transducer to read syrup and water pressure and barrel pressure. Cool.
It's the pressure transducers, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? We came across them the most. Us guys, though, probably don't even, a lot of guys don't even know what they were. But controlling fan cycle, a lot of guys use transducers to control their fan cycle or have pressure control with transducers. But I think going on in the future, I think we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more of just things fluctuating. It's trying to save energy, try to variable things down. Actually, probably VFDs don't. I'm pretty sure they use transducers all kinds. Right?
VFDs suck. We freaking blow them up. Burn.
But
they do. They're just
blowing my mind with that hat right now.
Yeah, I just thought it's my chroma key hat.
Yeah, because it's green.
Chroma key is on.
A green hat, and then Adam's on the screen, it's black. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. I've got the green jacket as well. I'm not sure. I think that might be going too far. But also, it might be the wrong shade of green. I'm going to try the green jacket.
I need to get a green sweater. That'd be pretty funny. While you're doing that, Clive, the idiot in me found my play button. It was hidden up there. So they are not anymore. It's just a mirror right here with just cheap, like,
I'm going to get my battery tray
around it or something. So they're nowhere near as cool as they used to be.
Yeah, the thing is they scaled it down to make it easier to make because so many people are getting the silver play buttons now because YouTube is absolutely blown up in the scale. Right,
I had to click over to the live stream to see what you guys are talking about with Clive's chroma key cat.
Yeah.
It looks green to us.
Wow, that's awesome. His jacket when he moves around.
Right now, Clive's gonna disappear into the abyss.
This is a classic British driver's work jacket. There we go.
Oh, nice.
It's
this goes.
Right now. It's actually not as green for some reason.
Yeah,
Let's
but
see
you
what
can still see it.
Yeah, it's a slightly different color.
Oh, there you go.
It's a darker green.
Is it still black?
It's
kind of semi-translucent now. It's kind of semi-transparent. As I move about, it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let me know if it upsets you or anything like that.
No, I think it's fine.
I don't think it
takes a lot to upset us.
There's an earthquake at Joe's house right now. I just saw his camera.
I think we actually specialize in upsetting other people.
Oh yeah, trick people. That's what we do best.
Susie Dunn wants to know if we think it's okay to take used circuit boards and install them and sell them to customers.
No.
Not under false pretenses.
There we go. Yeah. If the customer knows what they're buying, sure. But
like emergency situation, I guess maybe.
I agree.
Now, Susie, are you repurposing? And I mean, I'm not you, but I mean, in this hypothetical situation, are these being repaired? Are people just soldering on new relays and stuff onto them?
I don't know.
So-
mean,
It's a
yeah.
good question though, because
There's
things you change.
Sorry, go ahead, Clive.
The things you change on a circuit board, the prime suspects that age over time would be the electrolytic capacitors and potentially, well, usually just electrolytic capacitors, but if you know there's a component that wears out all the time, then you could keep a stock of the relays or something like that if the contacts were in the relays. But it's not uncommon for companies in specialist technical fields where they know that the replacement circuit board is going to cost, in industrial applications, it's going to cost hundreds or thousands of pounds for one of these circuit boards, but they know it's just that little relay or just that little resistor that always goes. I don't actually see a problem with repairing it at component level. In fact, if you're working with the same piece of equipment all the time, it might be viable just to keep a stock, just a small stock of the generic components that you know fix that particular circuit board and save. It saves them a lot of money, and it saves you a lot of time trying to get the circuit board, and then the hassle of then telling the customer, oh, that one costs £500. I know it's only a wee tiny board, but you need it, so to speak.
Yeah. And again, as long as the customer knows, then I'd be okay with it. It's one thing if under false pretenses you're telling them you're putting in a new circuit board and you're putting in a used one.
My question is, I'm skeptical on people trying to do that don't really have a good understanding of electronics. Like,
so you mean they use a MAP gas torch to melt?
Not
the
that.
solder?
Like, hey, this capacitor or whatever, I don't have the exact right size, but this is close enough.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do in condensers all the time, right? I don't have a 30. I'll use a 40. That will work. No problem.
Fine. It's fine.
It can be difficult relying on people and your own employees to do complex tasks like that. So, as a business owner, that's not something that we would do in my business, even if the customer wanted it. Like I couldn't have guys do that because so many things can go wrong. So a liability reason, I can't.
You don't trust your guys. I mean,
No, it's not that I don't trust my guys. It's just that you can't give them a task. They're not electronics repair people.
Right.
Do you trust your wife?
Yeah.
It's useful in extreme situations, though, where you've got a really vintage piece of equipment and it's physically intact. But you know the circuit board that, it's either fix the circuit board, fix that one burnt out resistor on the circuit board just because it's burnt out because it's old, or scrap the whole thing. A good example of that would be elevators. Many elevators where they have everything integrated in one circuit board, they have phase detection to detect if a phase has dropped or the polarity, the phase sequence has been reversed. If someone's disconnected the supply and put in a new supply from the street and it's got the wrong phase rotation. But they often use resistors to drop the current to power little opto-isolators so the computer can sense the phases directly. But they are usually they usually run very hot, and over the course of maybe 5-10 years, those resistors will fail, and it's like a 30 pence component, and yet it can actually just reincarnate that PCB because the other option is scrap the entire lift because you can't get that circuit board anymore.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
True.
Jeremy Hall, why don't you like elevators?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right?
It's a business that has its ups and downs,
Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
got that.
You
got
guys,
that. All right.
Yeah, the many trades that involve mechanical stuff like compressors and mechanics and stuff like that easily fit into the elevator industry because it's a mixture of mechanical, electrical, and electronics. So it's something you guys are already familiar with. There are many trades like that. If you ever get bored of this particular trade, you can move into another technical trade with similar aspects to it.
With what we do, because you get introduced to the beginning of plumbing, electrical, gas. I mean, you're not experts in it, but I mean, you know the basics
of everything.
Yeah,
and you know what's crazy, Chris? I don't know. Sorry to cut you off if you're still going on, but even the electrical side, it's more in depth. Like, okay, we got to know controls. Like from hydronics to refrigeration, you got to know controls. You got to know how to make things work and make things happen. It's not just cut and dry wiring plug to plug to plug or socket to socket to socket. It's knowing the controls. And I know a lot of electricians don't even know controls. To be honest, I'm just
but there's obviously residential and industrial, electrician, that's a whole nother ball game. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things
absolutely.
I look at industrial wise, and you're like, I don't want to touch it. Leave me alone. You know.
So can I finish what I was going to say, Joe?
Go ahead. Yes.
I forgot what it was. So
yes, sir. Oh, okay. No problem.
Joe's the rude Canadian. That's going to be his new name up there.
I don't have my earphones on. Sorry, I'm in the process of getting a new computer. So,
in the process, like, what's that? What happened?
I'm waiting for it to deliver.
What happened to your old computer?
I spilled wine on it.
Wine.
Oh, it's easy done.
Joe, no. Did we not already tell you? You don't tell people you spilled wine on your computer.
We told you spilled whiskey on it, Joe. That was where we're going with.
You don't admit that stuff, dude.
It's all right. You guys are all cool. I'm glad Clive said that, though. Coming from a guy who's electronically, Clive, this was a kind of a plan I had. And so you saying it's done, and I hope they don't fix it. It was an Apple Air. I just hope they don't fix it because it was kind of part of the plan, and I hope they don't fix it. I want to give credit.
Whoa.
Wait,
what plan?
Oh, anyways, so those resistors, right? The color codes
have a warranty on
they stand for
I
different.
love Joe's plans. They don't make any sense.
No, actually, the bands are. I know a little.
Like,
you know
his
that
warranty insurance fraud scheme is to spill wine on his computer. And
you know that Circuit City's watching this stream right now, so
they are one of our sponsors.
I'm sure they are. Circuit City's been gone
City and Radio
I
Shack.
don't even know what Circuit City is. I'm not
CompUSA.
worried about them.
Silo was another electronics place for a while too.
We're sponsored by RCA VCRs.
Can you imagine going back in time and buying stock in RCA?
Wow.
Yeah,
So
you buy it at the right time, you probably make some money.
Yes.
You just got to sell out at the right time.
Two things that have then matched in this stream was one says Joe's piece of unserviceable junk Apple computer, which is not designed for service. That removing the keyboard, it's like on a traditional PC is a couple of latches, PC laptop, and you whip the circuit board out, you plug it in. You can't do it. It's designed to be unserviceable.
Yeah.
And then Chris mentioned earlier on about ripping out the fancy electronic control system for a system and putting in his traditional relays and contactors. There's sometimes they just go too far with that. It's almost like the people that are designing this stuff have never ever serviced it, and they think they're being clever by making things super complicated. But all they do is they make this nightmare of computerized controllers with passwords and multi-level menus and faults that you can never find because the fault's actually in the software because something weird happened that it couldn't detect.
Yeah.
So
Apple's notorious for doing that, though. I mean,
they are.
But hey, you know what? I don't, but a lot of people out there buy their ridiculously overpriced computers. So,
Dude.
Well, if people are willing to spend the money, then take their money.
Right. But you know what, Clive? I know you guys are all super computer, this, that, build your own. But you know what? For a guy like me who's not into that, not worried about my viruses, it's a quick processor. Now they have this quick M1 processor. Obviously, you guys are probably like thinking, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Probably don't. But it's a new processor. I see some kind of matching against the other old processor and other computers by far. It's killer. It's killer. And I just like it. So I just go for it.
Interesting.
The technology is very good. But,
Yeah.
it's just not very serviceable.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely agree with you 100%.
Hey, speaking of technology, Clive, do you know much about MRIs?
MRIs, magnetic
MRI
resonance imaging, yes. Not a huge amount.
Do you know anything about their cooling systems?
The liquid nitrogen for the superconductors. I don't know much. I've never actually opened one.
We were having a little side conversation in the chat, and some of the guys were talking about they use helium as a
liquid helium.
Yeah, they use that to cool the magnets.
I thought it was liquid nitrogen they used, but I could be wrong.
I've never known helium to be used in any application as a refrigerant.
Yeah, because some factories I think use it, and you see it. Sorry,
I said I've heard of it.
Yeah, and the factories are using it. Like everything's frozen.
I just tell people I'm going to drop in helium's a drop-in replacement for everything.
I would have thought helium. It does appear to be liquid helium is apparently the perfect element, cold enough to provide the levels of superconductor required in MRI scanners. I didn't know that. I thought because they used to use liquid nitrogen, but helium may have the advantage, but you'd think liquid helium would probably cost a lot more than liquid nitrogen. Yeah, not sure. Liquid nitrogen is the most abundant element in the air, so liquid nitrogen would be cheaper. But if they need that lower temperature, then liquid helium, then
exactly.
that sounds expensive. Have you seen the videos of them actually hitting the purge button where something's gone wrong or it's the end of life of the unit and it's the last resort, and it's got big signs that's saying purge is the last resort. But when you press it, it just vents the helium through vents in the roof, and you can see the clouds of fog rolling out, and then all the superconductors then start failing and stopping being superconductors.
Oh,
no,
nice.
I've never seen that.
That's pretty cool.
YouTube is your friend.
Sounds like I got a busy day tomorrow.
You're gonna watch a travel vlog? You want me to send you some travel vlog channels first? You can start your day out.
First, I gotta learn about these pressure transducers, and then I'm gonna be researching MRI cooling machines, and then I gotta look at buying some new pants. So that's my whole day right there.
Well, you can watch Chris's video.
Are you going to check out the reviews of the pants on the HVAC Tools channel?
Yes.
Yes.
Although,
I do that.
I do notice the iconic Cintas pants associated with American workers, that it didn't make an appearance in that. It was all the posh brands.
No, that's funny because a little birdie was squawking in our ear about Cintas pants today, and they were not on my list. The pants on that list was my OCD. That's why I wanted all black pants that looked good, that felt good, that were lightweight, and they all had to meet my criteria. So there was pants that Adam wanted me to do the Duluth Fire Hose Flex ones, but I didn't like the way that they looked. I don't think they had black actually, so I didn't do those ones. But
helium boils at minus 452.
That's not that much.
Pretty low. Is that Fahrenheit or Celsius?
I don't know.
Kelvin.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Kelvin.
He put a question mark, so I don't know if he's for certain. It's Big Muff Millionaire because he's the one who won the test.
No. Big Huff.
Oh, yes. When I say Muff?
Yes.
Isn't it negative 452 absolute zero?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is absolute zero.
Before we wrap this up, Adam, did you get an email from him?
Oh yeah, good point. I mean, I should. If we wait a couple more seconds, my email is going to pop back up on the screen. So
there you go.
Double check before we wrap up the show.
It rotates because it did it earlier on my left screen, and then during the show, it did it in the center screen, and then it just did it again on the right screen. So I think I'm just going to leave it up, and hopefully it won't move.
Hey, I agree with you, Fox Nakamori.
Alaska.
Dickies work pants. That's my go-to.
Dickies were on that list, but
Adam, look at Duluth. Look at Alaska's Duluth pants, the one you always preach about. Were too rough on Chris' soft Californian skin.
That's good. That's true. That's true. He couldn't handle it.
Someone in the video, because people are watching the pants video right now, someone actually commented and got mad at me because I said that we washed them. I wanted to see how fast they would fade. So we washed every pair of pants for like 2 months straight in hot water. And he's like, why are you such an idiot? You shouldn't have washed them in hot water. Why not follow the instructions? It's like, why even post a comment? You wasted your life typing that out.
I know.
Work trousers shouldn't even have a washing label. You should just bang them in absolutely any setting and then tumble dry them to death.
Yeah,
they should handle anything.
Right.
That was the point as to I was trying to prove is the ones that I chose, they didn't fade. And every other one I washed them in high heat and dried them in high heat, and the other ones all faded. So
I like my Duluth. Bill says he likes his, but he doesn't like to wear his to work because he says they're like his church pants.
Yeah, they're way too fancy. I mean, they are way too fancy to be wearing around at work and crawling through grease and getting silicone and dye and stuff on them, man. Like, nah, I can't do that. Yep. I wear these pants to like birthday parties and weddings and everything else.
Bill, are you from Alabama?
I wish.
All right. So did you get that?
I do believe the Dukes of Hazzard was a documentary, not a real TV show.
Nice.
Yeah, Adam?
Yes, got it.
Did you get any other cool emails?
I hope not.
You guys are letting me down if you're not sending Adam emails. Come on.
No, that's cool, guys. Don't do it.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think anybody does, Chad.
Well, I think it's time that we wrap this show up.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Clive, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Awesome.
As usual. It's been awesome.
Always good
It's
to
so
join you
easy.
guys.
Yeah, it's so easy just to sometimes I feel like we could talk for another hour just BSing because it's so easy to talk to you on here. So
And I know
That's why my streams last for 3 hours or more. That's why I actually recommend that people just drop in and out them, just catch a bit here and there, or leave it on the background. Otherwise, it'd be quite
last week
arduous
was
to watch.
4.5 hours last week.
I noticed on your live streams though, Clive, there's a lot of times where you're like, okay, we're gonna do this for another 20 minutes, and then like 20 minutes come
an hour later. Yeah.
there's a lot of fans in here of Big Clive, and you guys are awesome. But the guys who don't know, we should post Clive's live that's on tomorrow at 4 Eastern.
Oh, there is the live stream tomorrow.
Live stream.
It's not just any average live stream. I do recommend bringing cake as well as an alcoholic beverage because it's the anniversary live stream of the lockdown live streams. It's 1 year that I've been doing those, which is quite spectacular. I didn't think it was going to go on that long.
Since the lockdown, eh?
I think Chris is gonna post it for the guys who don't know about it. But Chris,
I'm trying to find it and I'm not having luck finding
I knew
it.
you were. I said I could tell by your
I'm on his channel and I just don't see the live yet. So I'm like, yeah.
Oh, Chris, is he one of those? Oh, I watch your stuff, but I'm not subscribed.
I do.
No,
I got
I'm
a
subscribed to your channel. I do exactly
ever
what it says. I pop in and I pop out different times. I'm usually doing stuff with the family on Saturday, so I'm always watching.
I posted it in the
I'm
chat.
just talking to you because you said the last time, but
Yeah. No.
It went a very odd direction last week anyway. It went a bit gay, if you ask me. It was like a bit sort of over camp and a bit. I drank carbonated wine and it just went straight to the head. So
You don't feel it, right?
A very odd.
Yeah, half our streams go pretty gay too. It's all right.
Yeah. I get disappointed when they only reach a certain level of gaydom.
Yeah, it's when I ended up posting links to pictures and asking for points out of 10 for bearishness and things like that.
Oh,
Hey, we should start doing that. That's a good idea. That goes back to my idea. Why are we not doing sexy HVAC overtime calendars?
I know.
This Christmas,
Should have done it.
to a supply house coming near you.
I'm telling you.
All right. Well,
Wait. Hold on. So, if you guys want to send, should I do it to him right now? I don't think he realized what he just told me. You guys see in the private chat right now?
Oh,
That's why I was asking for his email address.
I know.
I should totally do it, but I'm not going to. All right.
No.
He said FO.
He says, "Fine." He's probably in the back.
Oh man. All right.
What?
What?
guys, hit the thumbs up button
Yes.
and go subscribe to HVACR Tools because Joe's giving away his manifold.
Yes. And then also make sure you guys subscribe to Clive's
Yep.
for
The
sure.
link was just up there.
Yep.
Come in tomorrow. Chill out.
Maybe I should actually ask people. I've never done this in my videos. Do the remember to like and subscribe thing. I just never do that. Maybe I should, but I think it alienates some.
I know you don't at all.
I think you do okay, Clive. I think you're doing okay.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
You would make me feel better as a very small petty YouTuber if you just don't get any more subscribers or likes. So just let's not ask.
Okay.
Okay.
Listen, Chris.
Yes.
I'm the only one in here that has the YouTube pause button. All right. So
Okay.
pump the brakes.
All
Can we
right.
end on this note? Electronics and cock, great mix.
Cock or cock?
Cock.